The other issues like this come with women issue is the issue of marital rape. See, marital rape, it refers to a forceful physical relation by a husband to his lawful wife. Marital rape, it is different from the rape, the normal rape. Under section 375 of Indian Penal Code, it says that rape is something that is unconsensual, that is forceful, and that is done in the time when the female is in unconscious state, or she is like mentally unsound. So it defines rape like that. But the question arises that why does the definition of rape changes with the marital status of the women? Why does the definition of rape changes with the marital status of the women? Means before marriage she is preserved. She is not allowed to go like frequently with male friends or something. She is like restricted in that. Her movement is restricted. But what happens that suddenly with some rituals and something, she is forced into bed with some men whom she barely knows, in case of arranged marriages. So is that ritual is sufficient enough to change the mentality of the situation of, or change the definition of rape? Earlier it was like, before, when she is not married, she is saved like anything, like she is saved like a treasure, and if something happens, something forceful act happens with her, it is considered to be rape. But after, it is considered to be legal and authorized. Why it is so? Isn't it her right to her bodily act, or isn't it her right for her reproductive in reproductive sense? So the question arises that why the marital rape is not still being criminalized in India? Like 90% of the countries, they have criminalized marital rape as normal rape. So why not in India? Still there is no law for marital rape. Only if something happens like that, it crosses. First thing, like women won't go for reporting such a case. But if it goes extreme lines, then they'll take care. They'll go through Domestic Violence Act 2005. Under that, they will go proceed. But there should be a separate law for this marital rape. Though it was after, in 2012, after the Delhi gang rape case, the J.S. Verma committee, when the modifications were done in 2005 Domestic Violence Act, they suggest some act for marital rape also, but it was not implemented at that time. Though it was opportunity for the lawmakers that they could go for such laws, but they did not make any law for marital rape, and it was still unauthorized. So here the main ethical issue is that the question of consent. The question of consent. Question of consent, it says that, like in rape, while defining rape, it is said that it is forceful, some forceful act, means it's not by consent. So then it is rape. So why not in marriages? It is said that the question of consent, it goes in when the time when a woman is married to a man. If she is married to a man, it is taken for granted that she has to maintain a physical relationship with that man. Why it is so? Why it is so that after changing her marital status, the consent is gone? Why it is taken for granted? Why it is not illegitimate for like other men, like the husband itself? So in India, if you see that, there is a cultural practice that women are least asked for the marriages also. Like their choice is least. Mostly in case of arranged marriages, they are least asked. Even they are asked, yes, in some families they are asked that about their choice, but mostly it is not asked. Their consent is taken for granted. Like whatever the parents choose, it is good for her. But it is not in the case of boys, mostly. In India, have you read like Chetan Bhagat's Two States? On the back side of the cover, it is said that in India, marriage is not between two individuals. Marriage is defined something like it is first it is a marriage of two religions. It is a marriage of two castes. Then it is the marriage of families. Then the relatives, and after that, if something is left, then the marriage of two individuals. So why this consent issue is taken for granted? Why this consent is not coming into being? And that to the consent of women mostly. So in this marital rape itself, according to law, like according expected law, it is said that it should be criminalized because consent is as important as it is in case of rape. Because it should not change with the marital, it should not be taken granted that she is married or she is signed a contract. It's not granted like her desire should be taken as granted. The consent issue should be there. Means whatever be the marital status or whatever be the contract, her desire must be taken care of also. Her desire or her consent should not be taken for granted. And that is the need for criminalizing marital rape. Like even in contract, and you know, its history is like that. The word rape, it has been derived from a word called raptus. In early days, in ancient periods, it was raptus was something related with stealing of some property. So when I said like when after gradually after settled life, when women started, they were treated like a property. So the stealing of their virginity is considered to be like a robbery. So that it's like rape. It got its name from there. Like if virginity of any woman is stolen, that is the stealing of some property, because she is treated like a commodity, object, so or a property. So when her virginity is stolen, then it becomes a rape. And in 16th or 17th century, the Chief Justice of England, he made a statement that when marriage happens or if a woman signs a contract with a man, the husband's forceful or violent act on women also should not be considered unlawful, because after contract the man gets the full right to have a physical relationship with the woman. So in that case, it should not be made said as a crime. But apart from that, even our National Commission for Women, they have suggested that the marital rape should be made a crime. It should not be the consent issue of consent must be taken care of, and it should be made a crime. Even like UNDP chief Helen Clark, when she came to India, she said that Mr. Modi has promised for sustainable development, and he has promised for this women empowerment. Until unless this marital rape is made a crime, his promise won't be fulfilled. The promise of sustainable development of India won't be fulfilled. So she says that marital rape is not about a culture. It's not a question about any culture or a tradition. It is the issue of the concept, or it is the issue of the consent. Means it should not vary with the marital status. Rape is rape if it done without the consent. So in any case, if some forceful act is made, that is considered to be rape, even if she is married or unmarried. Even if she is the rape is done by some unknown stranger, or even if he is her own husband. So rape should be made a crime for that. And since there is no current law for marital rape in India, it is said that for solving this issue or making marital rape as a crime, you know, laws are not sufficient. Laws are not sufficient for this, because the reform is needed at the societal level, at an attitudinal level. societal at the grassroots level. Means until and unless the attitude towards women is changed, no legislation will work out. Though there can be laws for women empowerment, there has been laws, like she has been given 33% reservation in all decision making organization and everything. But what has happened? Has the crime stopped? No. So the basic thing is that the grassroots level, it is the attitude of the society must need a change. The attitude towards women needs a change, and it has to be done as early as possible, because if India want to be a developed country, if it is on the verge of development, it can't ignore women, because women are equally important for the economic development as men. So it should be taken care of as soon as possible, because she must be made, like I said, 27% GDP will increase if women empowerment is done. It is directly proportional with the economic development. So until unless her empowerment, and no loopholes should be left in case of her empowerment. And for that, every citizen, every, not only state, even the religious organizations, they must come forward. They must go for a, they must go for or support a kind of universal civil code or secular civil code that is not only for one religion or like personal laws what I discussed. It should be like that all the good things from all personal laws should be taken, drawn, and that has to be a one uniform secular civil code must be made. And here lies the role of the states and the role of the NGOs. NGOs will make, what will they do? They'll make aware. And the role of the state, they'll legislate. They'll give laws for this empowerment.